Hey y'all. It's another day in the neighborhood. What's up, everyone? Whew. Feel like I haven't been on live in forever, even though it was only like a week ago. Welcome to today's lunchside card chat. It is the first one of these that I am doing, and I will be doing these every Friday now. So for those of you who aren't caught up, on Mondays I will be pulling a card either from my own deck, well, one of my several decks, or from someone else's. If you want to guest deck, I would love to flip through your cards and pick one for the week. But Mondays, I'm picking cards, and it's kind of the energy of the week. In the past, we've had 10 of Wands was last week, and I believe 8 of Cups was the week before. And they don't just have to be, or no, excuse me, Eight of Cups was the week before that. I did an Oracle card in between. So they don't just have to be tarot. I'm doing Oracle as well. And this week, it's neither, actually. It's kind of this awesome hybrid deck by AmberRose Stahl. I felt like her when I was doing those movements. And it's called HeartQuest. And she called it HeartQuest because these are the cards, by the way. Just so beautiful. So she called it HeartQuest, from what I understand, because there is no key. I mean, there's a key. This is the only key. Is this guy right here. So it's different from Oracle because it's not like, you know, yes, all of the cards, this is our card for the week. Yes, all of our cards have you know, a word on it about what it means, and a picture or an image. She hand drew all of these, which is amazing. But, you know, with Oracle, it's kind of like it comes with a guidebook and blah, blah, blah. I never look at the guidebook. And if you're trying to read Oracle, don't bother with the guidebook. I mean, it's kind of cool to see their interpretation sometimes, but really, when a true reading is a true reading, it's because you're reading it and you're interpreting, okay, this girl holding a flower means XYZ to me, and that's the energy that's coming through, even if you're reading for someone else. Yeah, so basically the way that heart and tarot, oh my gosh, I'm so all over the place, you guys. This is what doing taxes does to me. I don't know if anybody else has that same issue, but I'm always like, well, ADD kicking in all the time. And that's what I've been doing all day, is taxes. So fun stuff. See, that's the thing that people don't realize about businesses like this is they're like, oh, you get to lead this magical life and be off in the clouds, and we're still human, dude. We still have to deal with the same like everyday stuff. So it's just that we get to do what we love, supposing that the people doing it love it. I do. So, and then tarot. So Oracle is like the picture and the symbol and the card and whatever, and maybe a little blurb or a word. With tarot, it's you're picking a specific card, and there are 72 cards in the deck, and you have 22 major arcana, and then you have the minor arcana, which are all divided into suits, and each suit means something, and each number of each suit means, it's like complex, complicated. With this here, HeartQuest, AmberRose has created this in a way where basically you can look at anything that's on here or not, and just interpret. So the way that I mean, I actually use this card when I'm reading too, like as one of the cards, and I'll use it as like full alignment because these are all the chakras. So she's organized these cards so that each, so that several of the cards in the deck, so here's your deck, right? Lots of these are upside down right now. But several of the cards in the deck are divided. So here you'll see like 2 blue, but they have this color stripe under them. And you can interpret that in, okay, actually those are 2 different blues. Yeah, those are 2 different blues. There are 2 different blues on here. So you can interpret that as like, okay, blue means XYZ to me. That's what I'm taking this to mean. Or you can look at it via the chakra system. So she has it listed: red is root, orange is womb, yellow is core, etc., so on and so forth. And she added above crown, she added grace and gratitude as well, which are magenta and teal. But you don't have to go by that chakra system. And that's what I love is she really... she's such a, if you know her, she's just such a mermaid, and she's so much about the flow of life, and just letting people go with their own flow. And so that's why she's called this deck HeartQuest, is because you're questing after your heart's desire, and you're going after kind of like, what is it that you feel you see in this card, or in this card, right? So when looking at our card of the week, you might see the orange, which is written on this here card as the sacral, or the womb space. Men, you also have a sacral chakra. You don't have to have a vagina or a womb space to have a sacral space, because the sacral space is really about creation, right? So where all of your reproductive stuff is, that's your womb space. So yeah. So you can look at it as that, or you can look at it and say, okay, what does the color orange mean to me? How am I feeling into that? What, maybe you associate it with a specific emotion or a specific flower, or maybe you're in a country where currency is orange, something like that. Let's see what else. So, yeah. So you can look at that. You can also look at this lovely, awesome, interpretive painting from Amber. And I see this completely differently every single time I look at it. So the first time I saw it, I was like, okay, it's, I saw it like water, because, for me, it's like water, like filling your cup, that's abundance. So you have like this full cup of abundance. The next time I saw it, I saw like the money symbol. So like maybe like a thing full of money, and it's like dispersing everywhere, and like just completely fruitful and overflowing and abundant. Another time I've looked at it, I see kind of like this like ethereal astral creature of abundance who's like there's the torso, and there are like these octopus legs, and it's like crawling into this world to give us abundance. Other times I've looked at it as like, this is a human body, and so it's like, here are your legs, and here's your torso, and you're like, and this is your womb space. And so you're like carrying all of this abundance inside of you. And actually, as I'm talking about that, it also kind of looks like someone pooping out abundance, guys. Like, what if you had so much abundance that you were just pooping it out all the time? That's a lot of abundance. That is amazing. So yeah, so this card is really, any of these cards, it's just reading her cards is a magical process in and of itself, because you get to have that different interpretation, and it'll show up to you, just because these drawings are so they're so vague, and they're so I'll just show you a few others, like they're just so, you can interpret so many different things from them. Like, you have the spiral, you have the shining outward, you have the heart, but maybe that's a whole person. You have bloom. Is that really just a flower? You can look at that. Like there's sacred geometry in there. There's, magic. It could be a flower. It could be a shooting star. It could be a person whose hair is going everywhere. I don't know. Like, there's just so much that you can interpret, so many different ways that you can interpret these cards. So, and I love that, because then also, like I said, the first time I saw this card, I looked at it way differently than the second or the third or the fourth time I saw this card. And so you see from the images exactly what you're supposed to see at that point in time. And that's really where I think that HeartQuest comes from. Is your heart is allowing you to see whatever it is that you are in need of affirming or being reflected. Yeah, so let's talk about how this is coming into play right now. So normally I pull cards on Monday. I got back from convocation on Monday, which was absolutely phenomenal. It was so good this year, you guys. It was so good this year. If you have a chance to go next year, mark it on your calendar, because it's always the third weekend of February. In Dearborn, Michigan. So if you need to fly, book your flight. If you need to drive, book that weekend off. Yeah. And it's super cheap for the whole weekend. Anyways, hopefully I'll be teaching there again next year. So also, if you were attending and you were at my class and you have not yet filled out your forms online saying that you like my class and you want to see me back, please do that. Cool. Yeah, so I got back on Monday, which is normally when actually Monday late, because I drove straight to Kalamazoo. I had class, and then I came back to Grand Rapids. Big weekend. So by the time I got home at like 10 o'clock at night, I was exhausted. I was like, there's no way I'm pulling a card right now. And I had gone back and forth all day, like, okay, do I just, pull a card out right now in the middle of this Starbucks parking lot or whatever? Like, do I just go ahead and draw a random card right at this very moment? And I kept getting, no, absolutely not. So I just listened to that. And you will see that happen from time to time on here. Not too often. I will try my best to stick to the Monday and Friday schedule. But occasionally I'm a person too. Life gets in the way, or I feel like I'm not qualified to be picking a card at that point in time. When it comes to sessions, it's very different, because it's like, okay, like, I'm in my space, it's already booked, it's already set, I already know to prepare for that. So I am already like in that headspace when we get into that. But as far as picking cards, I really feel like it's important for me to be really, really, I don't know, it's just a different headspace for me. Don't know how to explain it completely, but maybe someday I will. So anyways, I just kind of listened to that, and I was like, all right, yesterday, I kept getting on the full moon. It's a full moon card. It's not just this week's card. It is a full moon card. And if you haven't read my article yet about this week's full moon, please, doorwaytoself.com/blog. Basically, I talk a lot about how this moon cycle, hi, thank you for joining. This moon cycle feels a lot to me like it's not just this full moon. I'm really feeling into this blue moon as a whole process. So it feels like last night's full moon is this entire month encompassed. So it's the energy does not only apply to last night, it does not only apply to the 24 hours on either side of the full moon, it also applies to the entire month. So the energy that's here right now will carry into the next 2 weeks, as full moons usually do. We usually feel the effects for the next 2 weeks. But it'll also carry into the new moon, and the new moon will carry a lot of this energy as well. And then it will flow into the next full moon, to the blue moon in Libra at the end of the month. And so I loved that I pulled this card, right? And especially with Jupiter going retrograde, which means, you know, watch your wallet, basically. Yeah, it just feels good to have this in my hand. I smiled really big when I pulled this, because it feels apropos. So last night's moon. So it's interesting how abundance came to me, specifically yesterday and the day before. I have been writing non-stop, you guys. It's crazy. I have like 3 articles in queue ready to publish, which is not something that has happened in probably, well, I take that back. Solar eclipse was the last time it happened. So it's been months. So abundance has really come to me through this idea of creation, through this idea of like an abundance of channeled information from my higher self, abundance of channeled information from source, from the energy that's going on around us, and it showed up in an abundance of writing, and you're going to be seeing those articles here in the next few weeks for sure. So that was really cool. And then also, you know, many of you saw my Facebook post on my personal page about practitioners being kind of in their rights, as far as, you know, I've been seeing a lot of practitioners who don't have the necessary training. And by training, I mean life experience and professional training, and et cetera, so on and so forth. And I'm happy to share that post on this page as well. If you're interested, just comment and I'll share that post. But actually, I may just share it anyways because it's important. But yeah, so that's a great example of how this writing is just flowing. I feel like the energy of this full moon is very much about, you know, January, we had those 2 moons as well, that the one on the 1st or 2nd, depending on where you were in the world, and then the one on the 31st, or the 30th, I can't remember. Anyways, the point is the 2 moons happened in 1 month. So we had that energy, and it felt a lot like we were all beginning things. But it felt really chaotic at the same time. Like we were starting things, but kind of new at it. Like we weren't really sure where to go, or, you know, what was what. And that can come with an 11 energy as well, which is the year that we're in, is this 11 year, 2018 equals 11. So, you know, with this 11 energy, it can feel a lot like we're kind of all over the place, trying to sort our stuff out, not quite understanding how. There, you know, a rhythm might take a minute to get into. There's all this balancing you're trying to do between like higher self and human self, between like being an astral body and being in a human body, like just a ton of balancing going on, to try and really get the most out of this 11 portal that you can, which makes sense because 11 has the vibrations of 2, which is duality and balance, And it also has the energies of the vibration of the number one, which is all about beginnings and being able to learn how to shift things around you in a way where you can truly begin on your path. So, so that was interesting, that January, right? Because with January, we also definitely had that vibration, that number one vibration, because of the month of January. Now we are in a 3-month, the month of March, which is all about growth, transformation, communication, creation, creativity. What's up, Drop by Apothecary? Thank you for joining. Yeah, so basically I kind of say that January was kind of like our baby steps month. And that blue moon cycle was like this hit you in the face, like, you know, these are all these new energies that you can incorporate. And then we had February with no full moon, and we could just kind of like sink into this new moon process and integrating and really sinking into the self. Also, tons of karmic relations were dealt with in the month of February. Old relationships that were popping up, or new relationships that were very, very, very old, with that old karmic energy from past lives. So that was happening a lot in February. And March, to me, feels like the joining of those two things, because karmic relations brings about this idea of there needs to be justice. There needs to be truth that's shown. And so I feel like everything happened in the last few months. Everything was kind of brought up and made apparent. And now we're at this point where we can center ourselves and say, okay, I think I get how I feel about this. I feel aligned. I feel solid. I feel balanced. I know what I need to do, and I'm going to go out and do it. This is really an action month. And I think that's really where this card comes into play, is in that action. We gain abundance through our action, and we have an abundance of actions that we're taking. So I really think that that's what this is about. The sign of Virgo is all about order, getting things in line, getting things prepared, planning, and it's also an earth sign, so it's very grounded. It's very, here we are. But at the same time, it's the Virgin sign, so it's all about starting anew. It's all about maybe a little bit of naivete, but still with a lot of strength and vigor behind it. So that's really what's going on, is we have this really strong energy right now to be able to center ourselves, ground ourselves out, and really figure out, okay, I think this is where I'm going. This is where I want to go. This is the abundance that I'm calling into my life. This is what I want to surround myself with. And really then taking this month to act upon that. Calling ourselves out on our own BS, and being able to say, okay, I've had this pattern for this number of years, or I've kept my mouth shut about this for years or months or days or weeks or whatever. And it's time to stop keeping my mouth shut, and it's time to stop these old patterns of saying no to myself. And it's really the abundance. It's time to say yes to yourself. This is the time to say yes to yourself. Any kind of negative backlash is only going to help you in your growth process. 3 is the number of communication, and it's really important that we communicate right now. What are we feeling? What are we thinking? What rubs us the wrong way? And to then have a dialogue about that. And really see what comes out of it, really taking the time to listen to another person's perspective while staying in your truth. Because when we get different perspectives, that's how we can best brainstorm, right? That's how we can best come up with new ideas, new understandings, etc. So yeah, I think that's about it that I have to say about this card and about full moon. I would love to hear your thoughts on this card, on this moon. I would love to know what ritual practices you did. I did not make an essence or a potion, as they've been called, for this one, but rather I actually I soaked a specific plant in the moonlight. It was here, show, because it's right next to me. It's okay in the sun now. This guy was given to me. I fell in love with these trees at Woodcocks Park and yesterday, and I was just like reveling in them. And then this, I looked down and this was at my feet, and it was like, take me, use me. So I didn't make an essence or a potion, but I did soak this guy in the full moon last night. And I will, the kind of guidance I've been getting is to do the same with another plant or crystal that's going to make itself apparent to me by the new moon. And then I'll be putting everything together at the next full moon and doing the potion then. So again, this really integrative process, this whole, like, this moon was the beginning of the next moon. So, and also balance, because our next moon is in Libra. So we have Virgo full moon, Pisces new moon, and then Libra full moon. And we have the spring equinox in between. And so what I've really been feeling with this moon as well is, so we talked about kind of that solid, that feeling really solid with this moon and feeling really solid within the self and really like ready to go spread whatever it is that we need to spread out into the world. And a lot of that comes from having a healthy integration of masculine energy, feminine energy balance. Whether you're male, female, anywhere in between, it doesn't matter. We all have these energies, both of these energies inside of us. And it's important to tap into both of them. I know there's a huge movement right now with the divine feminine. And that's cool, because it actually, you know, I used to be extremely tapped into my divine masculine self, and it overpowered my divine feminine self. And so this movement has really helped me to understand, you know, who I am as a woman, who I am as, you know, with the divine feminine energy within me. But at the same time, I feel like it's going overboard, which is what happens. You know, it's like when we deprive ourselves of something, it's going to come around in another way. Once we get the chance, these notifications on my computer, oh my gosh, it's going to come up bigger when we get the chance to have it. So it's like, okay, I know you've done this. Everyone's done this. You're on a diet and you're like, I can't have this piece of chocolate, and you crave that specific piece of chocolate for like weeks. Okay, like weeks. You're craving this chocolate, and you're like, you go to someone's house for dinner, and they have a bowl of chocolate sitting out on the table, and it's not the same kind of chocolate that you're craving, but it's still chocolate, and you're craving chocolate. So you're sitting there, and you're really trying not to go to that bowl. And finally, you're like, okay, I'll just have one. And so you pop one into your mouth, and you're like, it's really not as good as the one chocolate I wanted, but it's still like feeding that craving. And so then like 6 chocolates down the road, you're like, okay, I better stop now because I don't want to eat all their chocolates. But as soon as you leave their house, you go to the grocery store, and you buy like 6 bars of the chocolate that you were actually craving instead of buying one way back when you first craved it. And I feel like that's what's going on with this movement a lot as well. Hey, thanks for joining. Is, you know, this kind of the pendulum has swung, and it's swung way one way, where it was way the other way for thousands of years. And I'm not saying that the divine feminine shouldn't have the spotlight or anything like that, but, you know, they should both have the spotlight. It should be both, guys. It's not one or the other. It's not this one's more important than this one. It's if either one of them is missing, we're screwed. Because we need both to be a whole person. We need both to be a whole society. You know, each part lends itself in some way, shape, or form to the work that you're doing, to the work that I'm doing, to the work that we're doing as a world, as a country, as a city, as a state, whatever. So I really feel that that's probably, yeah, that's one of the bigger energies of this moon and of this month in general. And if you think of the equinox, right, it is equal. It is equal parts light and dark. It's the point in the year where the amount of sunlight we get during the day is the same amount of darkness we get during the night. And we'll be just past the new moon at that point. The new moon is on the 17th and the equinox is on the 20th. I will be doing a small like mini workshop within our activation within the field tank on the 20th for the equinox about balancing masculine and feminine energies within yourself. So if you're interested in participating in that, we are the fi.com/feel-tank-app, or you can go to the App Store on your phone if you have Android or iPhone and type in Field Tank, FEELTANK, and you'll have access to that video live. You'll also have access to that video, to all the replays of that video and every other video on the app. There are like over 50 at least at this point. So not just from me either, from tons of practitioners around the world. So it's pretty amazing stuff. So yeah, so balancing that masculine and feminine energy, and that's why I'm really feeling called to do the potion this way. And that's little tiny secret. That's what the potion is going to be this month, is the ability to balance within its inner balance. And there's going to be, you know, inner balance from being able to be out there and be in your body, and also between masculine and feminine. So yeah, that's what's going on. So you can expect to see that bottled after March 31st, when I'll be making it under the blue moon. Yeah, so I think that's about it. I'm gonna wrap up. Just to summarize, this week, abundance, that goes through till Monday, when I will pull our next card, and I will post the picture on Instagram and Facebook. This video will be uploaded to YouTube. And also, yeah, so Monday I will pick the card. Next Friday, I will do another video like this at lunchtime, so noon EST, on Facebook and Instagram Live. And then the recorded video will be uploaded to YouTube. If you have not already subscribed to the YouTube channel, I would greatly appreciate it if you would. I have 29 subscribers at this point, and I need 100 in order to get my own channel URL. So please subscribe. That would be amazing. That's the abundance I'm looking for this week, you guys. Also, the 100th subscriber will get a free bottle of any essence potion that they choose. Same thing with my 500 like on Facebook, which we're almost at as well. So if you have friends who you know will be interested in Doorway to Self, please send them to Doorway to Self on Facebook, at Doorway to Self on Instagram, and YouTube. You can look up Doorway to Self. It should pop up. If it doesn't, there are links to older videos that I've done on the Facebook page. So that's what's going on, you guys. Balance, starting things with a fresh, strong foot, feeling really strong and good inside yourself, and like you're ready to speak your truth and call yourself out on your BS. And yeah, abundance. That's about it, guys. Again, one more time, just to give a shout out, this is from the HeartQuest Deck by AmberRose Stahl. And I believe you can find it, you can purchase it if you're interested at featherandscale.com. That's all. Love you guys. Mwah! I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful week. And I look forward to seeing you on Monday. Bye.